Good morning, everyone. It's Joker, and today we are back with another slime video. Today, we're going to be doing even more teams that can successfully clear EX2 of the Beatdown Battle to get the final dupe of Diablo. We're just going to jump right in because I have like 5 teams or something, so let's get started. I'll narrate as we go. Alright, first up is going to be the Goddess of Destiny team. Another green-focused team, but it does have Shuna, who's going to be able to steal 3 orbs on turn 1, give herself an ult, and then we can, use a lot of buffs. Hopefully do enough damage to cover 600,000. She does have type advantage, so that's good. And we can crit this stage, which is also good. So even if we can't use like the full buff from Rain on turn 3, we can still do, I think, enough damage with the EX ult and the other buffs and the follow-up stuff. So let's try it out. Alright, turn 1, we're going to swap out is it Trya? I mean, we're going to have an ult for her either way, actually. Let's do that. Let's take the hero out. Take the hero out, we'll bring Soka in for Trya. There we go. And we'll steal 3 into 6. We'll get her ult. We'll use the hero next turn to swap the ult away and hopefully get a good hand. That's a lot of damage we're doing right there already. Jesus. I mean, to be fair, we are against a dark enemy, which means that we are getting the extra damage buff from Murin because it's, light allies versus dark. So it does work. So we are getting maximum damage almost, except she's just not physical. Ooh. Okay. Good hand here. Let's try it out. So we'll do the rain buff first. Well, actually, I say that, but I didn't actually want to do that. Well, rain, it is what it is. We're gonna have to live with it. So hero in for rain. We will swap the ult away. I think we'll use the future hand of greens here. And then we're going to send the 4 Shunas. And that should get her EX ult. And it also guarantee that we have just 2 greens in the future hand of greens as well. So it still worked out. Just not quite like I thought it was going to be. So boom, boom. Guaranteed crits, follow-up damage. Awesome. 57 points. So 16, 28, 23k right there. Alright. Taking down his health bar at a good rate. Yes. Okay, so turn 3, we don't have quite enough points to use all 4 of the buffs. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to swap out to green again. And then we'll use the Shuna buff now, because it lasts for 2 turns. We still have the crit and the follow-up from Murin, so no problems there. We have the EX ult, max points, another Murin next turn, and I think he's dead. So 14. Oh yeah, the hero is actually super weak point, so she's gonna do a lot of damage because she's physical here. Oh, this poor guy is dead. This poor guy is super duper dead on turn 4. Okay, well, GG's. Buff. We'll get Rain in for her nerfed damage now because it's only half of what it can be. I really don't like that about her kit, but it's gonna be plenty. We probably could have killed him with just the EX ult by itself without using anything. But we're going to do a lot of extra damage because I like to do lots of extra damage. So 1, 2, 3. She's going to do like 700k. Well, I say that. 400k. Still, he's dead. That's the whole point. Goddess of Destiny, if you summon on the rerun, you got some units out of it. Definitely can work. You don't need Rain, honestly. You have to bring like free-to-play Isis or something for the green buff. That's really all she's here for. We didn't need her extra magic damage buff. But Shuna, kind of important for the DPS. Soka, you could honestly swap her out. You don't. If you have Mirai, that'll work. Honestly, that'll work. The Hero 2.0, pretty useful here. Trya didn't actually do anything. So, yeah, you don't need her either. Let's move on. Alright, next up is the EX World of Fantasy team, a physical, green-focused, crit-based team. Now, we do have a few extra additions here. So the Hero 2.0 does have super weak point, because she is light and physical. We have Hinata here to steal the first 3 orbs, so I mean that's maybe a little bit of cheating right there. But that allows us to bring in a full hand of Milim. And Milim, for every skill that you use for the first 4 turns, gives herself an extra, I think, 3% crit damage. So you can get to, I mean, a decent number as long as you use a lot of low-cost skills, which most of this team has. And we're getting guaranteed crits from Frey on physical characters. We're getting a 3 and 3 orb change to 6 greens. We have the Hero 2.0 who's able to swap our alt away for another green orb. So we can very quickly build up some attack. Shizu is here to, permanently stack some attack on everybody. The hero is going to be our most damaging unit for the most part on normal orbs because she is, super weak point. Milim is the nuker, but the hero will just do more damage. So we're going to work to get as many skills as possible used in the first 4 turns. We'll use Frey to guarantee us that full hand of greens and give us guaranteed crits. And now I should 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So Milim's doing 10k, but the hero's doing 14k. So you want to send her last most of the time until you get to like Milim's actual crit damage nuke turn, and then she'll do more because she just has crit damage. But there's the EX ult thanks to her trait, so that's very good. I don't think I actually nuke here though because I kind of want to get a little bit more set up. Although I don't know how much more I would get set up. I just want more crit damage, honestly. So we're going to try and use more skills to get her stacked up even higher. So we'll swap the ult away. We're not going to use any other like temporary skills. We've used another stack of Shizu's attack buff. We'll do the orb change for Milim because that's permanent damage on green orbs. And that's about all we have to use. And then we'll use Frey, which will give us 50 skill points. And like technically we could use something else here, but I don't actually think I do. Because I want to make sure that we have, a good amount of points for next turn. We do have to push another turn though because we don't have the Frey to use. So this is going to be a dead turn right here, which, is fine because we're going to have 5 hero orbs because I'm going to swap Milim away. This is turn 4, so this is the last turn for me to use any skills to get any permanent crit damage for Milim. So we'll use the element buff and we'll use the future hand, I think, here. Yeah, so the element buff we can store in the back for Milim, and this will also ensure that the hero is going to do a lot of damage. And because we have just the one Hinata orb, and we're going to have an entire hand of oranges next turn, which may actually not go the way I want it to, but 14k right there. Not guaranteed crits, otherwise she'd be doing like 20 something. But, I mean, we've already taken out half his HP. So here, I mean, honestly, I probably should have just sent this hand and not done anything. But I do bring in Milim, and I do end up nuking here with her. In hindsight, again, I should have waited. I should have just sent the 5 orange and the hero ult, and then nuked next turn. Because we're no longer stacking crit damage, and we're up to, 55% or something right there on her. So, I mean, it's good, but then we have to use Frey to give her crit, which, takes away my 6 hand into a 5 send, which doesn't really make too much sense in hindsight. But we'll send the hero orbs, all of them, because she's going to do more damage. So the hero ult itself only does 43k. Not great. Milim ult does 203k, and then we almost kill. If that was a 6-hand send, we probably would have killed. Or if we had waited another turn, it's fine. So we have another ult for the hero because we sent 3 orbs for her last turn. And the hero can kill her. So World of Fantasy can definitely do it. Play a little bit better than I do, but I don't really think we need to do anything. We're going to get another stack of Shizu just for funsies onesies because I can. And this fight is over. So World of Fantasy can definitely take care of business. He is, much weaker to physical than magic, so it's not terribly difficult, but there we go. That's Team 2. Let's move on. Alright. We're going to use it sometime. Might as well do it now. We're going to use the Vengeance team. It's a weird setup, though, for the Vengeance team, because we have Velzard, we have Lumi, who's going to heal us, because we do take poison damage here, and that's, it will be damage over time. But in order to cleanse that, we are bringing the free-to-play Fire Shuna from New Year's of 2022, because she does cleanse poison, surprisingly. Recovers all allies from poison and increases own poison evasion rate by 10%. This is only for her. the evasion rate, but she does cleanse the poison. So we are able to save ourselves a little bit of damage here and there. I don't actually end up using her all that much, but then we have, Orb Changer, Healer, Orb Changer, Vengeance, Guard, Physical Resistance, which we don't matter here because he's magic. But let's go ahead and jump in. Turn 1, we don't have any triple Orb Stealer. I don't really feel like using any orb changes here either. I think what we end up doing is we just send the Raphael orbs to get us the most amount of greens and prep for next turn, because we have 50 points. Sorry, I'm hiccuping. And we get a good orb change, so we can use both the Aaron and the Yom orb change. It does prevent us from immediately using Velzard, which is unfortunate, because that's the whole point. That's where a lot of it's going to come in. Adelman does have an AoE ult. He does have an AoE attack, so we are able to get a number of stacks kind of quickly, depending on how everything works out. But now we have the poison applied to the front line alongside Shuna, so next turn, depending on how many points we have, we may be able to cleanse that. And we didn't have Yom up here, so we didn't have any, type advantage attacks for him. But, the whole point of Vengeance is to kill over time. But this does take a while. It does take a while. And we do have an okay hand right here. So we can use probably Lumi's Orb Change, that puts us at 50. And then we can do, one stack of Vengeance here, and maybe the Poison Evasion. So let's plan that out before we use actually Velzard and put it on, because I want to make sure that it's applied to the people who are going to be up front to take whatever attacks we may get. So Orb Change with Lumi, cool. She doesn't have poison, so she can go away. It's not really important that she's here. Let's go ahead and bring up Yom for her, and then I do want to use a stack of Vengeance. It's better to use the Guard here because, again, the physical resistance that we get from Yom's Vengeance buff doesn't do anything. Doesn't matter. So there we go. We've reset. We put Vengeance on. Let's go ahead and use Yom's Orb Change here now, and then we'll just go ahead and send this. We could have swapped Aaron out, and we could have had more Orb Changing for Yom. Could have used something else, but that's what I went with. Holding on to ults here is not really the whole point, because none of them are doing a lot of damage. There we go. We get a good hand here, though, and that will allow us to do some things. Yom still has poison. Shuna still has poison in the back, but only Yom's taking damage from it. We can use Velzard again to reset the orb. So we'll Vengeance with Raphael, I think, once we get our front line set up. So Aaron will come out, and I think we will heal. Vengeance, heal. Alright. So we're up to 12 stacks. There's a heal, so we're, poison doesn't really matter. We'll use Velzard, put the Vengeance now on Lumi, and then we'll use Yom's Orb Change, and that's about all we can do, and we'll go ahead and send it. Raphael's ult effect does lower physical attack. Again, has no bearing on this match. But we are sending Yom last because he is type advantage. And that's really the only reason. Because he's doing more on his normal orbs than anything else. Interesting hand right here. We have 5 Yom orbs, including his ult. So I think I don't do anything. I think I just send it. We'll just Vengeance. And I think we will actually cleanse here with Shuna, if I remember correctly. Because we do have it applied now. So yeah, we'll bring her in, and then we'll cleanse the front 3, because she still has it from the original turn. Costs 30 points, but there we go. Cleanses off. The red debuff is just poison damage. If we happen to have poison, it's like a 50% buff to that DOT. But if there's no poison, then it has no bearing. So, and I believe it's permanent, so we can't really do anything about it anyways. But we'll send the Yom Orbs. We'll free up our hand, and we will attempt to get a decent thing going, which we did. But turn 5, the magic changing seal comes into play. But also, the Vengeance comes into play. So we're doing like 100k right there. We can no longer orb change, though. So we have to rely on natural orb RNG, which is never the fun thing. But, yeah, it is what it is. So I'm just checking the debuffs right here, making sure that we don't have actual poison applied. And we got to heal. So we only have access to the Vengeance skills and the healing skills, which will keep us alive, no doubt. And will still allow us to apply Vengeance here and there. So we'll go ahead and seal him, which doesn't do much, but it does give us that elemental resistance, which will help us tank a little better. Because after like turn 8, he starts to hit quite a bit harder, and we definitely want to not take too much damage. So we'll guard, we'll put 2 more stacks of Vengeance on, and then we'll go ahead and send the Raphael Orb since we have the most of him. And then he's going to AoE ult, which is automatically 3 stacks. So boom, 3,000, 4,000 damage, not very good. But he's going to ult again, which is another guaranteed. Now we're doing 125 per Vengeance strike, and we're just going to get rid of these blues because we can't do anything about them anyways. So, pop, pop, pop. He does 1 damage now. He's got a lot of defense. He's going to ult again. Boom, 7,000 damage, quite a bit more because he is raising his attack up now. Lumi is looking quite low, 146k on Vengeance now, so we will heal just to get everyone else topped up, and then Lumi's going away because she will not survive much longer up front with his increased dark attack and all that. So she needs to go. I would love to use an orb change. We can use with Yom because he's been up front, but I can't use Aaron. And we can't use Lumi either. So greens, max points right here. That's good. And he will attack us, I think, with an AoE or a multiple hit. Can't remember. 1, 2 hits. All right, so we're up to 37 stacks, 150k. So as long as we can survive this next coming turn, we're good. Which is, it is an ult, and he is, you know, more powerful. I think I swap out Aaron for Shuna. I think, because she has more health. Maybe I don't. I think maybe we just apply Velzard and call it good. What do we do? Come on. Think about it. Think harder. Think faster. Think faster. Okay, we do bring Aaron in. Okay, sorry. We skipped ahead a little bit. We're going to apply the seal and the elemental resistance here just to make us tank a little better. That Aaron skill doesn't do much. He's not critting us, really. So we will just use Velzard. We'll apply 2 more stacks of Vengeance, and we'll call it a day, because, you know, the game is over. As long as we don't die, which we're not going to get one shot here. And he'll kill himself from Vengeance. 1 damage on the ult. Awesome. 1 and 1. His AoE does 11k now. That's quite hefty. And then some guards. And then 49 stacks does almost 200k. So there you go. He's dead. Vengeance can do it. You don't need this exact setup to do it either, but I would very much suggest at least bringing a healer. You don't need to bring Shuna. Okay. I cooked this up. It looks pretty wonky. We're going to use old OG release unit Gazel as our DPS unit because he is light. He is physical. He does give himself a small amount of buffs. 25% attack, 20% crit rate, which we're going to get guaranteed crits from Guy, but 20% crit damage for 3 turns. So we can make things work. We've got EX Guy for the ult damage and guaranteed crits. We have Leon for the light buff. We have free-to-play Trya for the green conversion because sometimes we don't quite have a hand of orange and sometimes we need some points, so I brought her for funsy onesies. And then Fount of Wisdom Rimuru for the physical buff. Now, obviously, with both Rimuru and Guy, we can't use both of their buffs at the same time, and Leon. So we're gonna have to hold the Rimuru 65% physical and the Leon 50% light on Gazel before he's ready to nuke, and then we'll bring in and we'll use Guy's buff on the actual nuke turn because that's pretty much the only points we're gonna have to use. So let's go ahead and show this off. Turn 1. You know, we don't have anyone to steal, but we do have Guy, who can convert into 5 blues, because blues for turn 1 are not nerfed, and this will get us at least a decent amount of ult gauge, and then we'll bring Rimuru in, because he does have Shion attached to him, for extra protection gauge, which will just make things a little bit easier. So we'll send Gazel last, because obviously he's going to be the highest damaging unit. Yeah, 5,000 with a 120 Guy versus a 120 Gazel with, you know, to be fair, 9 out of these 12 units are level 120, so maybe this isn't actually realistic for many people, but, I mean, it's proof of concept, right? You can make Gazel a semi-competent nuker here, if you put enough buffs on him. Which, if you don't have Rimuru, you're gonna have to try something else then. I actually don't know who can replace Rimuru. There's only a couple units that give physical buff. Gazel giving the guaranteed crits is important, but I guess you could bring like the hero and then just another alt buffer like Water Shuna or something like that. Definitely something you can think about. Gazel obviously is the DPS. Trya is here for funsies, but you'll have to really think deep down and hard about what you want to use here. So this is an interesting hand. Gazel's ready to nuke, so we're going to use the Rimuru buff now and one of Gazel's buffs now, and then we'll send him away. And then we can just build up enough points to use the light buff on him, and then send him away, and then 2 turns later we can then nuke with him when we can use Guy's buff, which may or may not be actually 2 turns, and maybe a couple more than that, because we need points, right? And oranges don't cycle very well. But we have a lot of Rimuru orbs here, so I mean, we have an EX ult for him. That's something, right? That's definitely something. We'll bring Trya in for Guy. She has Violet attached to her for protection gauge as well, so maybe here's hoping we get a good hand of greens next turn. We do end up sending Rimuru last, which, I mean, Leon pierced, so it was a good decision in the end. And he synergied right there, so awesome. Now we have an EX ult for Rimuru. So we have a Gazel buff, we have a Rimuru EX nuke. So we're going to hold that. We're going to bring Gazel in for Rimuru. We'll use the Leon buff now, and that'll put the light buff on. And then we will send him away again for Guy. And then maybe we have enough points to use Trya? Maybe. We're going to use the last Gazel buff, actually. So... okay, so we can use one of Trya's skills for points, which, you know, greens will give us a nice amount. It'll get us a Protector Towa next turn, and then maybe on turn 5 we can then nuke with Guy, because we'll have enough points between this and the Trya 40 points, which we will. We'll have 95 points. So that's just enough, because we've used every other single buff on this team to get to this spot, and now we have an ult with Guy, too. So, I mean, that's cool. He'll have the ult buff, he'll have guaranteed crits. He won't have anything else, but, you know, oh well. So, we'll bring you in for Trya, because I want Guy to be here. We don't have any orbs for Leon, so there's no point in trying to bring Rimuru in, because it would just be a waste. But, let's use Towa, give ourselves 40 points, get us to 95, and then we can use the Guy buff, and we can see how much magical damage Gazel with a lot of buffs on is going to do. So we'll send him last. And Gazel does... Do I actually watch this ult? I think I do watch this ult, because, you know, when's the last time you actually saw Gazel ult in a match, if you're not, like, a day one, or, like, a new player who just happened to pull him. 275k is actually respectable for a 2-month-old, two-year-old unit, you know, who's not an EX character. 66k with Guy, alright, that's not as good. 7,000 on those orbs, but Gazel on his 200% does 69k, and, you know, Adelman's almost dead, right? We have an EX ult with Rimuru, we have another ult with Guy, so between those, I believe we can just finish this up. Just with, you know, raw damage. We can't orb change anymore. We don't have another Towa. We have a bunch of greens, though, which, because of that swap out, actually worked out very well. And then we'll use Gazel's attack buff, because we can, and we have orbs for him, in case our ults don't finish up. But Guy does 25k. Alright, not great. Rimuru does... do we watch it? I guess we watch it. Okay. Cool. I mean, I don't really see Rimuru's ult either that much anymore. It does look good. It does look good. I don't think it does that much damage. 25k. Alright, cool. Pop, pop. And then Gazel, 9,000. Finishes it up on turn 6. There we go. If you give him enough buffs, he can do decent damage. It wasn't, you know, world-changing, but it definitely took off a lot of health. So there we go. We made Gazel a DPS unit. I might have one more team. Hold on, I might not. We might end this video. Nah, I think we're good on these 4 teams. So that's like, what, 7 teams now between this video and the last video that you can use to beat this. of varying degrees of success. Obviously, if you don't have any of those teams, it might be a little more difficult for you. But when I do the free-to-play Benimaru showcase, we'll definitely attempt to use him in here with the meta and see how well he puts up numbers versus having Shion. I think it should be pretty good. But let me know what you guys think of this. If you have any other teams that were able to beat it, let me know. But that's it from me. Take it easy, guys, and I'll see you all later.